Hello friends, happy Friday. Mr. O'Connor here to do some math with you today. So for math today, we're going to do true-false equations. That means we're going to read an equation and decide if we think that equation is true, that it makes sense, or if it's false, meaning that it doesn't make sense. And if it is false, we're going to edit the equation to make it true. So since we're going to be working with equations today, it's really important that we review our math symbols and that we know what those symbols mean. Let's talk about this symbol first. Everybody question, what is this symbol? That's right, this is the plus symbol, and the plus symbol means and. Everybody question, what is this symbol? That's right, you got it. This is the minus symbol, and the minus symbol means take away. What's this symbol? Got it again, the equal symbol, which means is. And I know my friends always like to include this symbol. Everybody question, what is this symbol? That's right, it's the does not equal symbol, which means is not. So here's our first equation. I'm going to write it down, then we're going to read it together, and then you're going to decide if you think that it is true or if you think that it's false. Here's the first equation. Let's read it together. Ready, set, read. 4 equals 4. Take a second and think about that. Do you think that that equation is true, or do you think that equation is false? If you're able, pause this video and vote with someone near you and talk about why you think this equation is true or false. Great. My vote is that this equation is true, that it makes sense, because 4 is 4. If I make quantities that match the numerals, I notice that the quantities are the same, which means that that equation is true and makes sense. Let's do another one. First, let's read the equation. Ready, set, read. 6 equals 2 plus 2. Now think about that for a moment. Do you think that equation is true, meaning it makes sense, or false, meaning it doesn't make sense? Think about that for a moment, and if you're able, pause and talk with someone near you why this equation is true or false. Great. I know that this equation is false because 6 and 2 is not the same thing. If I make quantities that match the numerals, I notice that on this side we have 6, and on this side 2 and 2 we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that 2 and 2 is the same as 4, and 4 and 6 are not the same thing. So I know that this equation is false. So one thing I can do as a mathematician is think about how to edit this equation to make it true. I have a couple of different ideas. One quick way I could edit it to make this equation true is to just make it be 6 does not equal 2 plus 2. That would be true. Another way I could edit the equation is to change 6 into this numeral. Let's read the equation now. Ready, set, read. 4 equals 2 plus 2. I know that that statement is true. So, a couple of different ways that I turned that false equation into a true equation. Let's do one more. Let's read the equation. Ready, set, read. 3 plus 1 equals 3 plus 3. Take a moment and think. Is this equation true, meaning it makes sense, or false, meaning it does not? If you're able, pause this video and talk with someone near you about if this equation is true or false and why, using math words like, I know it is because. Great. Like me, I hope you realize that this equation was false, meaning that it does not make sense the way that it's written now. So your job today is to take this equation and edit it to make it true. Lots of different ways you could do that, and any way is fine. So take any strategy you want. You can add things or change things. You can change the numerals or the symbols, but start with this equation and edit it to make it true. Thanks. When you're done, Take a photo or a video of your work and send it to your teacher. Can't wait to see what your math brains come up with.